Nature is made possible by public television stations, your gas company and America's gas industry, supplying natural gas across this land of ours, providing gas energy to fuel industry, warm homes, heat water and cook meals for over 160 million people from coast to coast.
Why, of all the thousands of animal species on this planet, did man develop such a close symbiotic relationship with just two, dogs and cats? Hi, I'm George Page for Nature. You know, people make pets of almost any animal or bird, but dogs and cats are by far the most popular, and they have been for millennia. This week, we'll look at why dogs. This is my dog, Jenny. She's a golden retriever, a hunting dog. But to me, she's just a pet. We can trace Jenny's more immediate ancestors back to England in the 1840s and the Earl of Lichfield, who bred the first Goldens. But like all domestic dogs, her distant relatives are believed to be the very first domesticated animals on Earth, going back to the Stone Age, to the dawn of man's own history, all the way back to the ancient wolf. Dogs couldn't get along without us. And as we'll see in our film, we're only just beginning to understand the many great benefits they can provide to humans. To scientists, she's Canis familiaris, but to many of us, she's been man's best friend for thousands of years. If you were a visitor from outer space, you'd be struck by the fact that one species of animal has used its machines and power to dominate all the rest. Yet most of these human beings choose to share their lives with animals of a totally different species, their pets. They especially like to tie themselves to their dogs. An alien might even wonder which animal is in charge. Whether the dogs are reflections of the people, or vice versa. Why is it that Western man seems to have such a deep-seated urge to get so closely involved with an animal? Could it be that in our modern lifestyles, purely human interactions are not satisfying enough? Or is it some basic need left over from the days of our rural ancestors? And of all the wild animals of the world that primitive man might have chosen to be groomed, to share his family life, why should he have chosen the dog to be elevated to this special status? There are about 57 million dogs in the United States. About 1 out of every 3 houses you pass is home for a dog. It's by far America's most favored animal. And if you travel to the ends of the earth, you'd find the same thing. Across divisions of continents, religions, and cultures, our friend the dog is always man's #1 animal companion. Yet how people treat dogs varies considerably.
Many Americans seem to treat their pets just like babies. It's almost impossible now to view them simply as animals, to stand back and look at the true nature of the domestic dog. Experts agree that all domestic dogs were evolved from wolves. To this day, wild wolves can be tamed by man to live as companions. However, the American wolf is too big to be the prime ancestor of our present-day pets. Different races of small Asiatic wolves are viewed as the starting point of all domestic dogs. Fossils suggest that ancient man and a wolf-like dog lived together at least 12,000 years ago. Ancient wolves had more features going for them than any other wild beast that led them to being bred to become our most popular animal. First, wolves and dogs, by their nature, live in family packs and will follow others in the group that discipline them. From prehistoric pictures, it's clear that they also actually helped those primitive peoples survive. Some helped in the hunt. Others protected their home territory. Today, this same guarding behavior is used around the world. Another convenient aspect is that, like many carnivores, dogs use definite places to relieve themselves. And if a human has taken over the role as pack leader, dogs can be trained not to cause messes indoors. You only have to remember that animals like elephants and cows just drop their wastes at random, and you can easily see why they would not be too popular frisking around the house. Another bonus is their ability to shift loyalties from their own dog family to a human family.
Isn't it hard to tell them apart?
Surprisingly, it's the very nature of puppies that they don't automatically know just what sort of animals they're supposed to be. They come to recognize as family those creatures they associate with over a critical period when they're about 6 to 12 weeks old. This is the ideal time to adopt a dog. By then, it should have had time both to associate with its own kind, yet still get along with humans and view them as part of its natural family.
Mommy, can we have this one? Is that the one you like? Yeah.
They're all so cute, you don't know which one to take.
Dad, can we have them all?
Oh, sure, right.
Where would we put them? In your bedroom, Julie? Yeah.
Easy, do it.
This one
Put
could
you
sleep
out in the
with
backyard?
me.
They're very young.
No, this one could sleep with me.
So this is the one?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Gloria, I guess we've all decided on this one.
Dogs have been honored in art going back to the dawn of civilization, the family of Charles I of England and their family pet. In 15th century Europe, dogs were common around human settlements and sometimes were trained to be entertainers. The ancient Egyptians had close relationships with their dogs. By the 6th century BC, they had already bred them into several different types, the forerunners of today's breeds. By the time humans first began to record their lifestyles in pictures and words, the dog was already domesticated. But long before that, the dog's ancestors probably passed through a period of simply being tamed, like this gray fox. Many wild animals can be tempted by handouts and will learn to live close to man. It's a short step, then, to capture them and make them tame. But a tamed wild animal is not the same as a domesticated one. Domestication only came about when humans began to control the breeding of the animals they kept. The arrival of Missy, a particularly important pet, a female Yorkie ready to mate.
Oh, hi, Tony.
Hi, Gloria.
How's our little girl tonight?
Oh, she's fine.
Oh, lunch is all ready. Come on in and sit down.
If in your mind you could transpose this scene back about 6,000 years, you would see the basis of how different types of dogs were molded.
You want to give Macho a kiss, Missy? You want to kiss your little bride? Huh?
By choosing which animals mated together, humans took over from nature and began to select particular features of temperament and build that they wanted to see in their animals.
Like that for a minute. I'll be right back.
Natural selection no longer determined what survived and what styles of dogs were associated with man.
Tony, I'll take Missy. You hang on to Macho. And I'll take Missy and I'll get her ready down here. All right, we'll get her stacked. Okay, come on, sweetie. Good girl. Well, that's a good girl. Good girl. Here we go. Okay, Tony, I think she's ready now. You can put Macho down.
Most people are surprised at how dogs actually mate.
Get the girlie.
Just as in wolves, the male only mounts on the back of the female briefly until he has made a secure contact or tie. When this is achieved, the male partially dismounts to allow both animals to stand end to end, but still united. This is the stage at which actual fertilization takes place. Biologically, domestic dogs can mate and produce fertile offspring with any type of dog, but the breeders carefully choose which animals mate and thereby shape the features of the next generation. It's hard to believe these four skeletons are all the same species of animal. The Great Dane has strong jaws and a long skull. The Basset Hound has a similar muzzle. About half the skull extends in front of the eyes. This Boston Terrier has a nose region that is much shorter. It has the domed skull you'd expect of a puppy. The Chihuahua is almost lost below the Great Dane. It's been bred to have rounded proportions, rather like a human baby, a flat face, big brain case, and large eyes. A Chihuahua and a Bulldog, two of the extremes of man's creations. To breeders, they are a delight. To those who see beauty in the survival-efficient shapes of wild animals, these may seem a bizarre distortion of nature's intentions. If you care to survey the scene of what mankind has produced, you have only to visit a local dog show. The American Kennel Club now recognizes 128 breeds. Originally, red setters were bred for hunting. At a dog show, they're put through their paces mainly to display their looks. The Pekingese was bred as an ornamental companion, ideal to be carried around and fussed over. This breed is a typical example of an adult dog bred with all possible puppy-like features. In contrast, the Siberian Husky retains many more wolf-like features. Originally, they were bred to pull heavy loads. The Bedlington Terrier has been bred for its looks, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Contrary to its woolly appearance, it can be a fierce dog. It's related to the Bull Terrier, another powerful breed built for guarding. Afghans were bred as aristocratic hunting dogs. They have excellent eyesight and the long legs of a runner. The Russian Wolfhound, or Borzoi, another breed built for speed, ideal to chase large prey. A breed with an excellent temperament is the English Setter. But some experts worry that in breeding dogs for looks alone, we may be ignoring important considerations of temperament and health. The American Spaniel, once a field dog, now bred for its coat. In fact, some varieties of dogs can have medical problems due to overbreeding. Many large dogs, such as St. Bernards, are prone to hip dysplasia, for example. This is a world of customized animals selected to please man. But none of these pure breeds could survive for long without constant care. This is where you'd find the dogs that would get first prize for being best able to survive on their own. The street dogs of any of the poor areas of the world, experts at scavenging food around human habitations. No one owns them, no one cares for them. It's back again to survival of the fittest. You won't find the flattened noses, extreme proportions, and long coats of the show ring here. And what's remarkable about all these dogs is that all over the world they resemble one another and have a similar lifestyle. All freely interbreeding street dogs weigh about 30 pounds, have a pointed nose, a twisty tail, and short fur. Like wolves, these Indian dogs hardly ever bark and produce puppies only during one limited breeding season each year. In America, however, most dog owners choose purebred animals and then soon give up thinking of them as animals at all.
Hey.
We talk to them as if they understand all our thoughts and words, a Western attitude toward our pets, though there's little scientific evidence that most of our words mean anything to them.
Come here. What you doing? Good boy. Mitchell. Mitchell.
We are, however, beginning to understand how dogs see. The truth is that animals and people live in very different worlds. Man sees from his higher angle and in color. Our eyes capture a view of about 120 degrees. The dog's angle of vision is about twice as wide as man's, and most studies indicate that it's also colorblind. Its view of the world is based on a vantage point a foot off the ground, which tends to whiz by. Two different worlds. The dog's eyes are relatively poor at seeing static objects, but excellent at picking up movements. No wonder they're better at keeping watch. When the light begins to drop, the dog has the advantage. The man still views from on high, but his world gets dark and gloomy, and there's little sense of color as the light goes. But our twilight looks to the dog as if it's still the middle of the day. The dog's eyes have many more light sensors for black and white vision. They also have special reflectors in the back of each eye, which add to their light-gathering powers. These are what make dogs' eyes glow in car headlights. In humans and dogs, awareness is determined by the brain, selecting from the view the eyes see. Although we know the dog's views are very different from our own, we still can't be sure that the dog's brain actually interprets objects the same way we do. For most humans, vision is our most important sense. For dogs, it's different.
Julie, hi, how are you?
We first recognize each other by sight and then exchange words.
Everything's just fine.
Dogs use a different greeting. They use their noses to investigate. The dog's sense of smell is at least 200 times better than man's.
Isn't it nice at night?
Male dogs especially express their identity by marking their territory. The lamppost becomes the spot for a succession of dogs leaving their visiting cards. The dog's hearing is also much better than humans.
Come here, girl. Timba. Timba.
The detection of low frequencies is about the same for man and dog.
You ready?
But the dog can hear high notes that humans simply cannot detect, presumably an adaptation that helped our dog's ancestors hunt prey like mice and shrews. A dog's ears can move independently to catch and focus sound. Every owner knows that their dog has an acute sense of hearing, but sometimes they prefer not to use it.
Come on, Timba. Come on. Let's go. Timba, come on, girl. Come on. There's nothing there. Let's go. Come on.
We can easily recognize our dog's body postures if we take the trouble to look. Not surprisingly, other dogs can too. All dogs give elaborate and subtle signals to each other as a form of communication. Let's consult with one of the real experts in dog body language, the local mailman. This old dog seems to retain a clear sense of territory and tags along until the daily intruder moves out of its range. A chance to re-establish his territorial rights. Some dogs have been so well domesticated that they allow intruders to walk across their territory and hardly turn a hair. But for a dog to ask to play, he has a very special and unmistakable signal. Elbows on the ground and back end high, like this. It's a distinctive sign that means exactly the same thing to all dogs throughout the world. Let's play. You can copy this play bow posture yourself and see how your dog immediately recognizes it and will reply by starting to romp around and play games. Most house dogs still retain a strong sense of territory, though in the modern world it can be a little restrained. This guy is giving mixed signals. All the barking and the hair raised on his back suggest caution. But he's wagging his tail, and his ears are down. And his mouth is not curled back, so he doesn't seem to be on the verge of really attacking. As in all life, once mutual respect has been established, your enemies can become your close companions.
Hey, Pepper, here comes lunch.
With some breeds, it's more difficult to read their body language. But their territorial instincts still show themselves in endearing ways. Perhaps the CIA could find him a job shredding documents. And then there's the dog whose owners want him to stop intruders entering their territory. This visitor is now recognized from his daily visits, so the ferocity is tempered by tail wagging and even partial play bows. Even so, a passport is called for.
Finn. We go through this every day, boy. Who's kidding who, huh?
This puppy's willingness to drop on its back and expose its neck and belly is a sure sign of submission in body language. The gentle play biting is typical of puppies at an age when they're beginning to test their strength against littermates. For now, he's a special delivery.
Hi, Mrs. Bill. I've got a special delivery for you here.
Thanks so much.
That's okay. Take care now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Some dogs are okay only when their owner is around to keep them in check. We've grown so sentimental over dogs that we rarely bother to notice just how good they are at carrying out their lives as animals. How they drink is a skill we cannot copy. They can fold their tongue back to make a cup. They swim, not by a simple dog paddle, but by running underwater. And to dry themselves, they need to have loose skin, which can be shaken in different directions at the same time to keep them from losing their balance and falling over.
Okay, let's try it again this time. Barrett, move over to your left just a little bit. That's the boy. Yeah, Dixie's looking good now. Okay, I'm setting the timer.
If you want to check how you really view your dog in relation to your family,
Don't move.
take out the family album and look at the snapshots. They reveal that in many ways we treat them like our own children, or even our children's children. Our arms cradle them. Our heads bend over to touch cheeks. We kiss them. And they release in us a sense of fun and relaxation. We trust them with our children. We give them so many things. Many folks are happy to share their food with their dogs. Others would protest the hygiene aspect of these relationships, but you have to accept what actually goes on. We dress them up. We even celebrate their birthdays. So, with all this love for our animals, why is this such a common event? Every year, more than 7 million dogs, 1/8 of all those in America, are handed over to dog shelters. About 70% of them never come out alive.
Hi.
Hi.
Is this where you drop the dogs off?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to drop mine off.
Is that your dog, sir?
Yes.
The reason you're turning the dog into this for?
I can't take care of him anymore. He's too much to get.
Would you sign this for me, sir?
Okay.
I can't guarantee a placement for your dog. Can I take the dog, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. Come on.
Thank you.
$5 million unwanted dogs are destroyed annually, nearly 14,000 every day, 600 every hour. These facts would suggest that in reality, Americans don't like dogs. They do like puppies.
Mommy, it says it has puppies.
Yeah, do you think they have some we'd like?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go in and see?
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see what they have.
Okay.
Come on.
Now you go.
You go.
And in many cases, they're an impulse buy. Christmas and Easter are especially bad time for pets. Many are bought as presents to symbolize the loving feelings of the giver, whereas the recipient may have little tolerance for the animal once puppyhood is over.
How
are you?
Hi.
Did you come to see puppies today? We're hoping to get a puppy, but we don't know just which one would do for us. Which You like that one? Do you like this one? Laura likes the one up there, and Ann likes that one. Do you think we can look at one and see what it's like? We don't know about feeding. You want to see that one up there?
Well, why don't we bring one out and then we'll talk about feeding them and how to look after them.
Does that sound good?
Okay, you want that one? What they need to eat and everything? We'll get that one, okay?
Does that sound good?
But as youngsters, they all look so appealing. Their flat, round faces and turned down ears make them look cute.
This is a chow chow. A chow chow? Oh, he's so
He's
fuzzy.
going to be a lot bigger than the other puppy.
Unless you know what you're letting yourself into, it can become total confusion.
60 pounds.
Oh, that's
That's big.
that's big. A dog like that will go around well. Sit down over here.
It's all too easy to take on a puppy without realizing just what responsibilities are involved.
Let's go. We'll go see if we can find out a good time to go to the library. Okay?
It's best to find out first how big they will grow, how much exercise each breed needs, and whether they are good with children. A few library books and some time to think are the best recipe for making a wise family choice. When everyone is committed to the decision and understands that they're taking on a responsibility for 10 to 15 years, then is the time to adopt a dog. These golden retrievers are 8 weeks old, an ideal time to become part of a new family. They're easy to please and ready to learn. A dog can teach children many things, not the least a greater sensitivity to all nonverbal communication, a skill not taught in schools. And the puppy you take into your family may be giving you an extra benefit in an unexpected way.
Hi, Sid.
Hi.
What I'm going to do is put this blood pressure cuff on. Same kind of...
Dr. Aaron Ketcher of the University of Pennsylvania, an expert investigating what happens inside our body when we are with pets.
Now, just let your arm hang loose and relax and sit back there for a moment or two.
What I'd like you to do now is simply rest quietly to give your blood pressure a chance to stabilize. In a few minutes, we'll begin the rest of the experiment.
His volunteer test subject is allowed to relax for 10 minutes while her blood pressure drops to a resting level. The top figure is more interesting to watch for our purposes.
What kind of work do you do?
Well, I work in the business office as a receptionist. We check people in who have appointments, take care of the paperwork.
Then Catcher begins a casual conversation with his subject. The machine automatically takes a reading of her blood pressure. Whenever anyone talks to another person, however friendly and easygoing they are, it has a pronounced effect on blood pressure. It always shoots up.
What kind of dogs do you have?
3 mutts, a foxhound, and a German shepherd.
And where do all of those 5 dogs sleep?
In the bed.
In the bed? All of them?
4 of them usually. We now have a king-size bed.
We seem afraid of being judged.
They're comfy. Yes, they have their certain areas, and they seem to like the same areas. And the
that tension is what makes some people stutter.
They switch positions, and I don't get to move around a whole lot.
What I'm going to do now is get your dog and bring him in, and I want you to talk to him, pet him, just the way you would at home. Is that okay?
Sure.
Good, I'm going to get him now.
When pet owners are reunited with their dogs, you can see any tension in the muscles of the face disappear.
See how ugly your teeth are. They're very ugly. Breath.
After a time of petting and talking, the blood pressure often drops to a level below the resting stage. The relaxation experienced with pets can be just as great as that obtained by hypnosis or meditation. Surprisingly, stutterers don't stutter when they talk to a dog. If dogs actually have such a positive benefit on our health and feelings, you might imagine it would be the same in any culture. But in the Arab world, dogs are viewed as filthy animals and given no affection. According to Islamic belief, if you break convention and keep a pet dog, it means a deduction from your stock of a lifetime's good deeds, the passport you need to move into the next life. In contrast, throughout Europe, as in America, people treat their dogs as family. Here in Venice, dogs are so much a part of Italian society that they're governed by special laws. All dogs must wear a muzzle. But the law doesn't specify how they wear it. Kenya in Africa, a continent of many countries and many contrasts. Dogs in Africa often have an owner, but are not really treated as a close family pet. In townships, it's common for dogs to be tied up during the day, but released at night to serve as watchdogs. In the country, they just seem to tag along. The people do not control their dogs' breeding, and so the animals have the typical mongrel appearance common the world over. The life of the Maasai people is centered around their circular corrals and their cows. These animals provide the basis of all the Maasai need. But the Maasai also live with dogs. They use them to protect their homes and cattle. They're allowed to wander around outside, but are not shown any close affection. They're never trained, and if a Maasai saw you talking softly and affectionately to one of these dogs, he would consider you very odd. Bombay, the gateway to India. A teeming country that never sleeps. Many of the people are poor, and life goes on much as it used to a century ago. The cultural life of the nation is dominated by the Hindu religion, which preaches a reverence for all life. The cow, a close associate of the god Krishna, is viewed as sacred and to be revered. Because of this, it must seem revolting to devout Hindus that many Americans actually eat cows. Many of the poor people have a dog, give it a name, and share with it their meager resources. Here in Bombay, there's been a veterinary hospital serving dog lovers since the 1870s. They also treat all animals, whether they want to be treated or not. Indonesia, halfway round the globe from New York. A group of islands with people of many different beliefs and lifestyles. In these rural homes, high up on stilts, you might think that family dogs would not be in evidence. But you'd be wrong. They live as close companions, sharing the food and beds of their owners. We humans have much to gain from the companionship of a dog. The realization that dogs can help us to relax and bring us out of ourselves has led to them being used as a form of therapy in centers for senior citizens and other institutions.
A specific physical change you can see happening right behind me right now is it's a gentleman petting one of the dogs. His hands were contracted. Physically, he was having trouble feeding himself. He was having trouble writing. He now uses a typewriter. He typed up some prayers for our communion service this morning and showed them to me. You can see how well his hands move as he pets the dog. This was a gentleman who had resisted physical therapy. This is his physical therapy.
The loyalty and intelligence of dogs lets them take on roles that are nothing short of wonderful. This dog guide is being taught always to walk out in front of its companions, whatever the obstacles.
Good girl. Okay, good. Good girl.
Oh, no, man. No, man. Come here.
Later, they need to learn to stop at the curb.
Yeah, boy. That's it. Okay, come on. Let's try it again. Okay, Peter. Forward.
All their training is done by kindness and consistency. The reward is praise and affection.
Banter. Forward. Come on. Atta boy. That's it. Good. Atta good boy. Okay. Forward.
Because the dog's eye sees at such a low-angle view, it has to learn to avoid taking a blind person into obstacles that are over its head.
Let's try it again. Okay, man. Forward. Come on. Atta boy. That's it. Come on. Hop up. Come on, Mandarin. Atta boy. Come on. Come up there. Atta boy. Good.
Again, the reward is love.
There you go. Attaboy.
Finally, having taught this student dog all the basics, the trainers need to teach it the most difficult lesson of all. The dog must use its intelligence and disobey when to go forward would put the blind person in danger.
Go forward. Good boy. Attaboy. Easy. Nice controlled walk.
The level of trust is eloquent testimony to the value that we place on our dogs.
Attaboy. Okay, why don't we stop and really praise
They can provide an opening to another world, not just for blind people, but for us all.
That was just terrific.
For many elderly people, they give a focus and a center to their lives.
Good boy, John.
For more than 12,000 years, the human species has been sharing its life with a faithful companion animal that's second to none. Yet, we are only just beginning to study what roles the dog plays in different cultures, including our own. In many ways, dogs serve as a social lubricant in American society. Strangers are far more likely to talk to you if you're with your dog than if you're alone. And perhaps most important of all, they provide our children with a chance to empathize with an animal, to sense its unique individual spirit, to develop an appreciation for all living things that can last a lifetime.